Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of The Binding of Isaac Repentance, and today I was thinking of doing just a regular run, but to spice it up a little bit, I'm gonna random one instead of picking it from the get-go. Hopefully it's something that I haven't unlocked a lot of things with yet, so hopefully we can do something. Bethany, I think I have most things unlocked with her, but hey, still, the randomness is decided, we have to respect it. So, it's been a couple of days since I uploaded, it's been a couple of days since I played a regular run actually, in my free time, which I didn't have a lot of in the past few days, to be honest. I only played a few challenges. I beat some of the difficult challenges like speed, where you have to actually come to Mom's heart and beat her in 16 minutes, I think it is. And you know, that's a hard one. It just comes up to like, do you get a good item at the start and can that item carry you? And I got Ipecac in one of the first rooms. It was even my second try, so it wasn't too terrible, to be fair. Paralysis is just a great get with bad PhD. So bad PhD gives you all bad pills, but all bad pills have an added extra effect on top of it. So all stat pills, I think, give you a damage up, and then the ones which are not a stat down pill, like paralysis, I can't speak, paralysis, gives you a black heart. And with Bethany, that's useful, because then we can use the soul charges on some of the bosses, so hopefully we can actually dish out more damage, reduce our chance of getting hit, and of course increase our chance to get a devil deal, or an angel deal, I guess, in her case, considering she has a 100% chance to get an angel deal for some reason. Not sure why that is. Maybe that's just how Bethany works. That would make sense, because I don't really want devil deals with Bethany, right? But in one of the challenges with it, she didn't have this, so I'm not sure. Anyway, doesn't really matter. Like I said, it's been a busy couple of days. I have a couple of anecdotes for you. One of them is probably the craziest thing I've seen since COVID. I don't know what it is, but the frequency of crazy things happening outside has been disproportionately high ever since COVID started. And, oh, there we go, getting hit again. As soon as I start talking about other things, it just, my decision-making skill goes through the window. But that doesn't matter. We're here for the entertainment, damn it. Anyway, I've been seeing people do crazier things overall with COVID. So and like, I'm not sure what brought it on. Is it just people being in quarantine for such a long time, not having any human interaction with others? Or is just the fact that maybe it's a bit more it's maybe a bit more appropriate to be a bit of a dick because you wear a mask, and then of course because you wear a mask, people don't really know who you are, like it feels maybe a little bit less personal, and then people just kind of do crazy things on account of that. But the real shocker to me was like when COVID first started, when we had like 50 active cases in the entirety of Slovenia, everyone was super careful, where it was basically the most unlikely it's been since the pandemic started that you were gonna get infected. And it was great, because anytime you went into a store or a shop, everybody was moving away from you. So nobody was trying to crowd through you, because I feel like we can all relate. Like, this is one of the worst feelings that can happen, especially like on public transport or when you go into a shop that's crowded or whatever. You're trying to get in somewhere, and then there's like a ton of other people, but for some reason they can't wait, and because they're impatient and can't wait, they just make everything take like 10 times as long as it should have taken. If everybody just took their turn and entered the room or the train or whatever on their own accord. But of course that didn't happen. And then when COVID first started, I was like, oh well, this is like, maybe a pandemic is gonna bring justice to civilization again. Maybe it's not gonna take 5 years for me to get off a train, because some people are trying to get on it instead of just waiting for me to get off it first. You know, like, it's basic common sense, people, please. Like, just let the people who are trying to exit the train exit it first, and then you can enter it. Like, this is basic common decency. Like, it makes sense, right? And then of course, when that started, like, it worked great. Everyone was happy about it. But now, of course, people kind of forgot about all that, and everybody's just crowding through. Literally everywhere I go is just a ton of people, like, just push past by me, and it's like, dude, like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. And one of the worst cases of that, actually, I've seen in was in an emergency room, out of all places. Like, can you imagine that? Like, this is where all the diseased people are. And there's like a ton of others who are just kind of like making their way through like everyone else, and it's the most horrific thing imaginable, because it's like literally anyone who gets COVID here is probably gonna die, because they're all immunocompromised or whatever. Like these people are not well, but no, like people just don't care. Like some have their masks off and they're like casually drinking coffee, and then other people are like stumbling around, hitting everybody in the neck. Like I literally had a person, this was for an eye exam I had, there were like 30 people in the waiting room, and it was a small waiting room. Like there's like by no regulation should have that happened. And there were like a lot of people in the small waiting room, and one person just kept going up and down, taking their mask off and like eating a tangerine. Like dude, like can that friggin' tangerine wait a couple of seconds? Like this is not a life or death scenario here, man. But I guess it couldn't wait. Oh my god, getting that is so good. So yeah, like apparently like his tangerine couldn't wait, and you know that was a shame. I misused my cards a little bit, but that's fine. So that was disappointing, right? And then as soon as like the doctor called him in, like it's your turn, he was just standing there in the middle of everything and like wasn't even reacting. So it's like, dude, like are you even like following this? Like what's happening? Like I don't know if he had some like form of ADHD or whatever, and I'm not saying like it's totally understandable. I'm just saying like somebody put a stop to this madness. Like why is there no person like a medical personnel stopping him from causing chaos among everyone else who's just trying to get their eye examined and not die from COVID? Anyway, this is just like, this is not even like so these are like I would say pretty standard examples when you go like this is something you can expect. But what I witnessed 2 days ago was probably the worst example of this. Okay, so you know, let's just restart. Let's just go from the start. I had a good thing going here. I'm not gonna stop it and start re-recording my video because I won't capture the same furious energy I have inside me for people like this. And next time I'll try to focus more on the boss maybe. but anyway, so what happened 2 days ago was probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. And it was basically, so there's like this small store near where I work, and people go there like to buy snacks and groceries and just like, I mean, you know, it's a store, like a little grocery store. It's just a casual thing, you know. It's nice, it's quaint, and it's most of all close to like our school and where I work at, and to a lot of other places, to be fair, because it's in the center of the city. So a lot of people go there to buy something. And it's usually very crowded, but because it's small, like there are regulations that there can be only a certain amount of people per square mile or like mileage or whatever. And in that particular store, because it's so tiny, there can only be 2 people at once. And that, you know, like you don't have to be a genius to realize that that's not a lot of people, not very many. So what ends up happening, of course, there's usually a big line outside of people just trying to get in. So I can get there, okay. And usually that's not a problem. Like people wait, you know, nobody's too impatient. Everybody understands that this is the protocol. Like we all follow it. It's, you know, it's a little bit annoying, but like what can you do in the end? Nice, that's useful. So I was waiting. So there was me, and there were like a couple other people there, and you know, people went in normally, like there was no problem. Everybody was behaving because they're supposed to. And then all of a sudden there was like one person in front of me, and I was like, oh, you know, this cleared out pretty quickly. And so we're just waiting like this, and it was some construction worker, right? They like come there to get this like their afternoon like brunch or whatever, like something to eat, because you know they're working out all day and they, you know, rightfully deserve to eat something. So that, you know, just went well. And then suddenly, like, me and this guy are patiently waiting, minding our own business, and then suddenly this other guy, like, he looked like a bit of an actor, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what he was or was supposed to be. But in essence, like, he seemed a little, like, I would say annoyed or annoying. Like, he was pacing up and down, like he wasn't sure like what's going on. Like he was very impatient, and he was trying to get into that store pronto. Like it was necessary for him to enter that store as soon as possible. And then he stopped me and this guy, like he was looking at me like, why are you not going in? Why are you not going in? Like he's asking us this question. And I'm like, well, because, well, I didn't say anything, the other guy said it, but I was thinking it. Because there's already 2 people in the store, right? Like this is like just common sense. Like it says right so on the door. Like you can't, if there are 2 people in the store, you can't enter it. And of course there were 2 people in the store. But there was some other guy there, And he looked through the window. He was like, nah, that guy doesn't count. It's like, why wouldn't that guy count, right? It makes no sense. Like, why is this guy an exception to the rule? Like, why doesn't he count as a person? Like, is this some inside knowledge? And of course, like, this guy didn't know anything. He was just trying to get us in the store, like, just to speed things up. And then he literally, like, grabs the other guy's arm, like the construction workers who was in front of me, and brings him to the store. And he's like, yeah, just go in, come on, man, you just go in, you can go in. And like, this construction worker is just so confused, right? And like, because he was kind of socially manipulated, like, this is some high-level social engineering, he like just enters the store and he's like, hey, can I be here? And of course the lady who's like working at the store says, no, you can't. It's only 2 people per like are allowed to be in the store. And then this construction worker guy's like, well, I guess, you know, there's only 2 people in. But he didn't, like, the other guy, like, he did not like it. Like, he was not satisfied with that answer. So he comes back again and like starts harassing, oh my god, and starts harassing him again. He's like, come on, just go in, like, what's the problem? I mean, I don't understand, like, why are these regulations in place? And then he takes his mask and he pulls it off, and like his nose is showing and a little bit of his mouth, like the upper lip of the mouth. And of course, you know, at this point you know what kind of person you're dealing with. But then he just keeps going in and out of the store like 4 times. We were both watching him like, is this guy insane? Like, what's going on here? And it turns out, right, like, for the 4th time when he exited, he had a cup of coffee with him. So what this guy did was, when he was entering inside and outside of the store, he actually picked up a cup of coffee for himself. Like, he turned on the coffee machine and then made coffee for himself, which is just the most insane thing ever. Like, he couldn't wait like 5 minutes for the line to clear up. He had to have his coffee right there and then. And it's probably one of the examples of like just humanity, which I absolutely despise. Because, like, holy crap, man, like, you couldn't, like, just even asking would be nicer. He's like, hey, I'm in a rush, like, I just need a cup of coffee, can you guys let me through, right? Can I be the next one in? And I'm like, sure, no problem, right? I mean, I'm not gonna be the one to be like, hey, you can have a cup of coffee. Like, if you think it's important, if you're really in a rush, you know, I can be understanding and accommodate you, like, give my place in the line. Like, all you have to do is ask. But this guy was literally grabbing this guy's arm. Like, let's just, again, point out how insane that is and how inappropriate it is. He grabs this guy's arm and literally drags him to the store. Like, that should not happen in a society. Like, it should. I feel like he should be held accountable in some way. I don't know in what way, like community service maybe, or like some other punishment that maybe you can conjure up better than I can. But just absolutely wildly inappropriate and like I said before, insane. just what goes through these people's mind, I will never understand. And I'm not here to tell you, like, you can't live your life how you want it. Like, if you want to be the person who walks up to others and harasses them to enter a store when it's obvious they're not supposed to, like, you do you, man. Like, I support it. Like, I mean, I don't support it, but like, I respect it, I guess. It's like, it's your decision to live a life like a giant poo-poo head. But just, good lord. have some common, like, decency to at least ask. Because, like, it's, you know, like, what bothers me about this is, like, it's not the fact that this guy was shy to ask. Like, it wasn't even the fact, like, he was, like, in a position where it would be a little bit uncomfortable for him to address us directly. Like, hey, can I enter the store? Because obviously this guy has big cojones, right? Like, this guy is someone who just obviously did not socialize well in his kindergarten. Like, he's missing those formative years for how to interact with other people. So it's not like he's shy. Like, it's not like, that's not an excuse. It's not like, oh, maybe he was uncomfortable to ask because, you know, some people don't like giving their line the line. Maybe, but like, what he did was so much, like, took so many more guts that I feel like that's not an excuse. Like, it's not excusable. Just next time, like, if you're in that position, if you're that person, it's fine. Like, you can still turn back. Sacred Heart. You can still turn back. Just ask. Like, that's all you have to do. Like, this is my secret for life. If there's anything you want to do, and it, like, even if it maybe makes other people a little bit more uncomfortable, but you think your life would be better off for it, just ask. Like, it's just that simple. Even if it's something as ridiculous as I want to go to this coffee shop, like, I mean to this store and just get my coffee so I can start my day right. Completely fine. We're all a little bit weird. We all have our little quirks. And I mean, on the list of quirks, having to have coffee in the morning is not even that big of a quirk. Let's just make this clear, right? I'm not, like, quirk shaming this guy. I'm just saying. Why did I drop a bomb there? It's just pure frustration. Anyway, that was it. I got that off my chest. Thank you for listening. Hopefully, it was a little bit entertaining. But I mean, if you have your own stories like this, like your COVID pandemic, people being weird stories, I'm so interested in hearing them, because I do feel like, again, if nothing else, special times breed special anecdotes, and that's worth something. It has to be worth something at least. I actually can't, like, I have to be fair, like, I'm trying to think of other COVID anecdotes where people were acting a little bit strange, but I can't think of anything concrete, so I think that's a good sign. Oh, no, there's actually one more. Yeah, of course. Here's one that actually beguiles me to this very day. And it was just basically, so again, I mean, I go to the doctor a lot. And in this case, again, I was going to a doctor. Just my GP, just like for some consultation at that time. And they have like a very strict way of addressing, I suppose you can call it, of like how they address the patient. Like there's a very concrete line, like there's a very concrete like structure to how you go to your doctor, and like the general flow chart of how they even admit you, right? And one of those flow charts is like when you go in front of the building, like the hospital in this case, you're gonna have a little questionnaire that you have to fill out. I mean, that questionnaire is basically useless in the sense that it doesn't really test if you're like COVID positive or if you've done any like illegal stuff or something you're not supposed to, or something that increases your risk of getting COVID, because it's basically just up to you. Like you can lie on it, it's just very easy to lie. You can just circle no and everything, and that's it. But still, that's the procedure. Like you have to be here, like it's required, whatever. Like it's dumb, but we all put up with it because, you know, what else are you gonna do? And when you do it, right, I mean, you put that, and then of course, like if you circled everything, know that you're not someone who's infected or someone who has the chance to be infected, you can just move on with your life, and that's fine. But in a lot of cases, what there's also another aspect to this, right? You need the pen to write with, and of course, because we're in COVID times, you can't really share pens with other people. So what they have is they have two little trays, and in one tray there's infected pens, and the other one there's used pens, and then of course the medical personnel. I mean, I have to. Nice. And then the medical personnel actually goes through that, goes through the used pens and disinfects them, so you know they're always clean. And it just makes sense, right? When you put it like that. So then there's this older lady. Again, I don't wanna, you know, I get it. Like with older people, I try to be a bit more sympathetic because, you know, like with technology, for example, they're not used to like certain things, and you know, you get it. Like you didn't grow up with Facebook, obviously you're not gonna be able to use it, and that's fine, completely fine. But what I'm not okay with on any level is the fact that like here you are, like you're doing like you're coming to the doctor, you know that there's a huge pandemic going around, you know that you like your group is in this like your age group is the most endangered in the sense that you're most likely to get some serious complications from getting infected. And what does this lady do? She takes a pen out of the disinfected pile. You know, like she was able to read that much. She was able to locate the right pile to take the pen from. But then what she does is she puts the pen back in the disinfected pile. Like it's... What? Like this is not... Like you're like... There's literally only two options. And one of them is wrong. How do you like mess that up? It's... Like, I don't believe it. Please, I don't want to die on this run. If I end up dying, well, so be it. But I'll just get my keepies and I'll be out of here. Like, I'll be out of here. This is too good of a run to pass up. Perfect. I'll just focus a little bit, and then my rage will unleash again, just as soon as I deal with these fellas. The homing on brimstone shots is actually so good. Here you go. Knife piece. Okay, I'll just be out on my way. And actually having rotten penny here, which gives you a fly for every penny you pick up, or for any money you pick up, I guess, is good because we have a ton of damage, and then your fly scale of damage. That's using your brain. Okay, perfect. The game is stuttering a little bit. I'm not sure if that's because of my PC. Maybe it's like a Windows update thing or whatever. It's usually Windows update. Hopefully it's gonna resolve itself, or we're just gonna be stuck with these micro stutters. I don't know if they're visible, but they are feelable. Okay, I'll give you some money. I'm prepared to give you some money. If you just give me health, that's fine too, man. So yeah, like you have two options, you have two piles, and then you put the pen in the wrong pile. But even though like you were capable of reading to take from that pile, like I don't believe the first one was not a mistake and that the second one was a mistake. I know probabilistically, like if she was just picking from a random pile, you could make that argument, but like that's not what happened. Like I saw it, like there was malice in her eyes when she did it. Or maybe not malice, just ignorance. Like, she did not care about those pens. And I get it. Again, like, it's a minor thing. Like, nobody really thinks about it. Like, it's just, like, oh, it's just a pen. Like, you're not gonna get sick from it. And I admit, like, you know, like, the chance of you getting COVID from that random pen touch, like, the person who touched it had COVID right in front of you, that, like, sneeze on it or whatever, and then they put it back. Like, it's very, very low. And probably I shouldn't get, like, worried about it. But it really is about the principle of the damn thing. Like, just having that compassion to other people, like, especially if your, like, age group is the one that's most endangered. Like, you're literally, like, getting rid of the competition at this point. Oh, I didn't know they shoot that way. Well, now I know. Okay, perfect. Then they didn't go as smoothly as I hoped it would, but that's fine. Oh, I still have Are You a Wizard? I was wondering why it was curving down or up. So yeah, man, like COVID, if nothing else, really taught us about just the general nature of people, I suppose. It's not that it was surprised before. And I think that the scariest thing is that there's no real malice involved in any of what I said. They're just genuine, like, ignorance and people not giving a damn. It's like, just, like, that's kind of worse than people being intentionally malicious. Like, if this woman was intentionally out there trying to cause as many people to get sick, it'd be like, well, you know, like, that's some evil shit. But no, it's not even that. It's literally just, hey, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, that's even, like, that's so much worse. How do you not care? Like, it's... I can't comprehend it. By the way, the Pokeball is such a good item now. It was such a nice homing shot. I'll take Tough Love. I know, like, we're a bit low on health, but I'll take damage. I'll always take damage. A 2-shot with 50 damage is actually an insane amount. And it can also open secret rooms, apparently. Okay. Yeah. Thought I couldn't get out of the way of that one. That's fine. Okay, the mines dude. I got a hot tip from one of the viewers. Shout out to Neon, I believe. That if you kill this guy when he gets off his minecart, which seems like a mean thing to do, to be fair. Ah, please die. Thank you. You unlock brimstone bombs. And I love that. I love the fact that you can unlock things by doing things outside the norm. Apparently, that's not the only unlock. There's apparently a few similar tricks like that with the new bosses. Like if you do a certain thing to them or don't do a certain thing to them, you end up unlocking a couple new stuff. And I feel like that's such a cool little mechanic. And brimstone bombs especially. Like that's... I love brimstone bombs. Here you go. I already found a secret room. Maybe I can just try to find the first secret room, not the second secret room. That would be nice. So yeah, the absolute like insanity of people not caring about anything. And here's another little topic for you, which I feel like kind of captures the same spirit. It's a little bit different, to be fair, and it's not exactly applicable. But when it comes to like online like stuff, like your online personal information. And I was just talking this to some of my students the other day, and I asked them, like, what do you think about Facebook, like, having all of your personal information? And you know, there's like this common sentiment, well, I don't really care, because like they use this information, like them knowing this information about me is not dangerous. Like I don't care, like, if they know anything about me. And you know, like, this is where the secret lies. Like, the proof is in the pudding, how they would say. It's not so much that they have your information, because you're right, like, information is easily available today, right? It's more how they use your information, how they use the fact that you're a person who likes certain things or doesn't like certain things. And of course, that's how the algorithms create a divide and, like, kind of manipulate you into using their websites. And I was kind of thinking about this a little bit on the bus today. And I mean, I think about it a lot, to be fair, not just today on the bus, but it's just one of those things, because like, here is Google, right? And or like Facebook or Microsoft or like any other tech company. They have a profile on me, and they've kind of decided, based on what I do, what I click, and what I read, they've kind of decided to know what kind of a person I am. And I find that so wildly offensive, in like the most pure sense, because like, you don't know me, Google. Hey, you might know I like Sudoku puzzles. You may know that I like recording YouTube videos. What is this? Oh, it's this. Nice. Yes, I remember. That's a good item. It's a fun item. How do I... Are there buttons on there? Yeah. Okay. This room isn't that hard. So yeah, they know like these superficial things about me, like all these tech companies. They know what things I like, what I don't like just general things, but they don't know me. Like, they don't know me as a person. And then I'll sometimes get these suggestions from Google. Like, this is like what, like, I'll be straight, maybe this is TMI for some people, but it always gives me ads for like either losing weight or for getting the singles in my area. And it's like, Google, like, I appreciate, or like ad companies, I appreciate you like offering me advice on how to stay healthy and fit, but I genuinely like do not need it. I genuinely don't care about it. Or even like how to find singles in my area. Like, it's just like, that's so, like, that's, I don't know, like, I feel like you recommending this stuff to me really makes me feel like you don't know me. Because I mean, I'll click on it because I'll actually get some entertainment out of it, like reading through what, like, this crazy fad diets, you know, like, it can be like an afternoon of entertainment. And there's like people saying, well, if you eat at certain hours and like at certain moonlight, you're not gonna get as fat. And it's like, well, you know, it's kind of entertaining. Like, I didn't know people do that. I'm not shaming anyone doing it, but it's like, it's inconceivable that I would do it. Like, it doesn't really mesh with my schedule. I eat when I'm hungry, not when there's a full moon outside, right? And maybe, you know, I'm less healthy for doing so, but hey, that's just the way I do it, right? I respect your moon eating habits, you respect my non-moon eating habits. And then like the part where it's like, oh, here's some singles in your area. First of all, how do you even know I'm not in a committed relationship yet? Like, they just have no possibility of knowing? Is it just like because I don't have a lot of female Facebook friends? Like, because I didn't set my relationship status? It's just like, I don't buy it. Because like, all I'm saying is like, it's easy to hide a relationship. I mean, not hide it, but just in the sense that if you don't want people, or like Facebook to find out, like, it doesn't have to know, because it's just a matter of like, do you upload any photos with other people? Like, you know, like, I would guess, like, if I'm in an algorithm, like, how I would discover, like, if someone is in a relationship. Like, does a certain person appear with a certain other person more often than other people? You know, like, maybe that implies that they're together. Or, of course, if people set their status directly. But, like, I don't use Facebook. I've never uploaded a single picture on Facebook except of a picture of like an octopus, which is my profile picture. And I feel like on that account, like, how can anybody know, like, what I even do? Like, how do they know I need, like, this fit? And yeah, I know what you might say. Well, because you don't have any information on Facebook, that's why it's giving you irrelevant ads. But that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, this is this company pretending it knows me, but it doesn't really know anything about me. Even though they know all of my habits, what I click, what I read, like, they got all that, but still, like, that's not me. That's not what I'm interested in. I mean, I am interested in. So let me maybe put it in a different way, okay? Like, maybe this is a better example. So I use Spotify as well, right? And I feel like this is a better example. And I love Spotify. Like, Spotify is just... I'll just use the bot. Thanks. I love Spotify. It's a great service. You get a ton of songs there. You can listen to pretty much anything you want. It's pretty much free, like, if you can tolerate the ads. And they have a great big library, and I love it. Like, it's just genuinely like a good service. But here's the kicker, right? It uses its recommendation algorithms, like especially Discover Weekly, to recommend you songs that you already like. And you might say, well, that's not that big of a deal. But here's the kicker. Like, I really like, say, indie songs, and especially the ones which have female vocals. And I like there's not like a particular reason for that. I just like the type of music. Like, if you observe a general trend, like, that's the type of music I tend to listen to, and that's fine. And then Spotify is like, well, this guy likes indie music with female vocals, and then it starts recommending me those songs, and it's like literally the only thing that's gonna recommend, even though I like a ton of other genres as well. But because for some reason maybe I happen to listen to a bit more of that than anything else in a certain period of time, it's like, well, we gotta recommend this guy some more of that good shit. And then I listen to it, and it's like, well, this is good, but it's not as good as the things I've custom made for myself. Like, I know personally, like, which bands I like. Like, I love Monsters and Men, but if you give me a band that's like Monsters and Men, there's a good chance I won't like them as much, because of Monsters and Men have a very certain unique, like, feel to them, which I wasn't able to really find in other, like, bands so far, like similar bands, right? But there are other bands and other songs I listen to, like just other topics. I mean, not topics, genres. So yeah. That Spotify just not gonna recommend. So in that sense, it's always giving me stuff I'm already kind of familiar with, and it's okay. And on that basis, I can't really discover anything new, or like discover anything that maybe I would like, but I'm just not that familiar with. In spite of the week, like the thing saying discover weekly, like you're supposed to discover something weekly, and I don't. Like, I feel like just on a regular basis, like someone lied to me when they say, well, discover weekly. It's like, I don't discover anything. And this is kind of the same problem that we have with Facebook and other things. Like, they will always tend to give you or recommend you things that you're already familiar with, including viewpoints, like political viewpoints, or maybe just personal beliefs and stuff like that. And, you know, you might not think that's dangerous, because, like, oh, of course I want to interact with people who are like me. And that's great if you're, like, just into knitting and not something harmful. But there's a lot of people who think about harmful things. They don't like a certain group of people. They don't like a certain race of people. They don't like... Wait, so where's the secret exit? Isn't this supposed to appear here? Huh? It's kind of strange. I still have a chance to get to it from this floor, so that's fine. You know, and that's where the real danger comes. Because if you're someone who believes in flat earth, again, you know, no shame, like, if you do, in the sense that I think it's invalid in some way. Like, I think it's valid for you to have that belief. And I believe it's completely valid to, like, stand by it and, like, argue it to the best of your abilities. Like, I feel like that's the most we can do. This is, like, this is a hard enemy with Ipecac. But I feel like the real problem comes not from the fact you believe in that, but the problem that, like, if you're someone who believes in it, and, like, you're using, for example, Facebook as your main source, or like some other social media where, like, you interact with people like that, like, it's never gonna give you any conflicting information. Like, it's always gonna give you proof that flat earth is real. Of course, there's the little thing called confirmation bias, which means that you're always gonna look for things like you agree with, but these sites don't make it hard to fall into that little trap, and that's what makes them inherently dangerous, right? Dangerous in the sense that it, like, skews our perception, and it mostly just increases divide between the people, because it's like, well, now you have people who, like, believe in flat earth or whatever, and I feel like that's, like, not even, like... Oh my god, this is so annoying. Yes. This run would be easy with anything else other than this. It's just like my indie music recommendations. Like, if you're gonna like recommend me something, don't recommend me things I'm already familiar with, because it's like I want to discover new things. Like, that's the point of any like critical thinking, I suppose, or like just enjoying music. But because these like websites want to maximize engagement, like they do whatever it like is in their power to do it. And I feel like this reflection, like because we're inside so much, is kind of seen on the outside as well. Like, this is how people like just like act more in real life now, and I'm not sure if it's if I completely like it. This was maybe too much of a like too real of a rant compared to my previous anecdote story. I mean, I love the damage. Is it a little bit unnecessary at this point? Yeah, I think so. Give me some health, man. I would appreciate that. Not me like those other websites I just mentioned. I mean, you know what? This is actually not that good. Not that bad. Because every time I play it, yeah, see, I use a penny, and I get a chance to get... This is actually amazing. And you can spam it now, which is even better. You see this? Oh my god, I forgot I have... Oh my god, I cannot do this. Small rooms are the bane of me. Especially these ones, which curve my bullets up, and then I end up hitting myself. So like I said, like, if you're someone, like, I'm not here, like, again, to disparage any beliefs or whatnot, but I'm just, like, pointing out how like, this idea that, like, we have to be right or wrong, or that people are, like, we're acting less like people to each other, is, I feel like, fueled a little bit by social media, and it's kind of insane. Like, it's not so much that we see each other as, like, oh, this is like a human being with flaws, who like says weird things sometimes, but it's more like, oh, this person, he believes in something I don't. What a loser. Maybe in less or more of an extreme version of that. I feel like we've all experienced it to some degree, but thank you for the hearts. I'll just do it out here, okay? Thank you for the hearts. The fact you can just spam it now makes this so much better, and the fact I have a ton of like fires around me. Portable slot. You thought it was a bad item. It's actually the best item. And I could have used Yara. I will use Yara. I'll get a bunch of coins, and then I'll use Yara to duplicate all of those coins. That's gonna be so much fun. Can I, like, two-shot mom? Hopefully. I don't want to... I'm so careful about wasting my flames. Okay, so apparently I just don't get the access to the mausoleum. Okay, so then I should have gone the alternate path and used the full card to teleport out. And I missed that chance as well. So I guess we're just gonna go to Isaac. I mean, I need to do, like, my chest unlock. I haven't done it before, but it's a waste because this seems like a really good run. And especially a run that's able to, like, replenish itself. Like, if I get a bit of money, I can get a ton of health. But hey, it's fine. Like, we've already lost one, so... You know, at this point, I'll take any W I can get. What else? What else happened in the past few days, which is notable? Ooh. Thank you for the money. Oh my god, I'm already seeing it. Like, it's the play of playing my portable slot, duplicating everything I get, is already coming true in my mind. It's gonna be amazing. No, please don't stay away from me. Thank you. When it destroyed one of my flames, it dropped a bomb. That's so cool. Oh, there's another thing. Of course, maybe this is not information available for public disclosure, but I got a piano. Really happy about that. It's been my lifelong dream to get one. They say, I didn't know you play piano. That's the secret. I don't. I have no idea how to play a piano, but I really want to learn. I feel like it's similar to, like, learning hard bosses in games. This is what I was thinking about yesterday, because it's like literally just patterns. Like, you need to figure out the patterns, like in what order, like, you have to press certain buttons in, and like that's the same as fighting like any boss in Isaac, except I would say on a bit more of a difficult, like it's more difficult. I mean, I have a strong run going, but here's what I'll do, okay? I will appease the lords. I will re-roll my entire run. I will duplicate everything I get here, which is probably not gonna be a lot of things now that I see it, okay? I'll pick up this. Okay, lucky pennies. I'm okay with this. I mean, this is just not like 5 bombs and 2 keys. I'm not gonna duplicate that, but I will re-roll my run. Let's see what we get. Our damage dropped significantly. Our tear rate dropped significantly. We have a ton of... I don't even know what we have. I'll be honest, this run doesn't seem that good. And we have less health than before, so that's... I failed to see the positive, but then again, we did have Sacred Heart, Ipecac, and Max's... I mean, was it Max's head? It's not Max's head, it's the Cricket's head. That's the one. So, yeah. I don't know how to feel about this run already. I have a ton of flies, though. Which came from me picking up the coins, of course. So see, like, we just had the perfect run. And I wasted it. I'm only doing this much damage now because of the... Of my orbitals. And I have to tell you, like, the fact we have the bean at least gives me a good hope that we might sustain it, because we can use it once every room. And every time we use an active item... Oh, no, we actually don't get a fire every time we use an active item, because we don't have the Book of Virtues anymore, so... There's that. Okay, so we'll just have to play well, I guess. That's the... I don't like it, but hey, we have to do it. The Leech, we have the Leech. Never mind, this run is saved. The Leech is one of the best items in the game. Blood Bombs? I should have checked that first. Maybe Brimstone Bombs would be cool. Have the Sensor, also very good. A good defensive item. Really, anytime you reroll, it's like, this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna get an amazing combo of items I've never seen before. And then it's usually just regular stats and nothing special about it whatsoever. And then this guy walks in and literally destroys all of your firepower by running into your flames. But hey, that's life, huh? I really feel like you shouldn't be able to reroll some of these core items on your characters, like the Void. Like, that should always be stuck with you, unless you decide to replace it. Like, it shouldn't be able to reroll it. Or the D6, or, like in this case, the Book of Virtues. Okay, so, I mean, we're going to Isaac. I'm not gonna go to the Dark Room, even though I haven't been there before. I really wanna unlock the chest, because like I said, I don't have it yet. The Leech, the unsung hero of any Isaac journey, especially if we have some red health. I will take a Devil Deal now. I will not take a Devil Deal. They're both bad items. I mean, Goat Head is good, but this late on, it's not. It's just not. I would play the Blood Bank to get a few more flies. I might do it for, like, the boss, actually. Like, just play it, get a ton of coins if I get some red health throughout. And then just walk in with an army of flies, just instantly melt Mom's heart. That seems like a fun afternoon. Okay. There's 1 heart, means 1 fly. I just realized that the conversion of flies to hearts is not very good. Because essentially this means we have to... Like, 1 red heart is 1 play, and 1 play is 1 coin, essentially. Unless we get a little bit lucky, but... I mean, no matter, even if we get lucky... Oh, there's another thing I haven't mentioned, and that's probably the most exciting news of the entire week. And I actually... So the Rotten Penny is actually one of the items I modded in. And it was added in the game as a booster pack item. I like the concept, like it's a very simple concept, but I feel like it works great on a regular run because you get a ton of pennies. And then with flies and of course some combinations, like you can really steamroll the game. It's just like, I feel like it's a nice item. But the one thing that was missing from it is when you pick up a coin, like you get 1 fly, no matter what the denomination of the coin is. But when I coded it, I made it so that it gives you the amount of flies for the value of the coin. So if you had a double coin, you'd get 2 coins. If you picked up a nickel, you'd get 5 flies. If you had picked up a dime, you'd get 10. A quarter would give you 25, etc. Right? And that just made it a little bit more flavorful. But then, like, for some reason, when it was added in the booster pack, that was kind of ignored. Like, whoever re-implemented it didn't take that into account. And that still remained to repentance. And I was like, well, you know, I'll just survive. Like, it's fine. Like, it's a small thing. But then the more I played and the more I talked about it, the more it annoyed me. And I was like, Haven, the lead designer, the developer, sorry, of Repentance, I tweeted at him. I was like, hey, this is like a small request. I love this, like, DLC. Can you possibly, is there any little chance that you might actually, like, make that change so that you would get the amount of flies depending on how much coins you pick up? And he was like, this can be arranged. And I was like, this is the best, man. So Kilburn, if you're listening, if anybody's listening, like if you ever interact with this man, just know he's a god amongst men, and I will always love him for what he's done to me. And that's basically answer my tweet and say that he's gonna implement that one little change that I asked him to implement. Because I mean, like, just the fact like you're listening to fans on like these minute details, because I feel like it would be so fair for him to say no. I mean, or even ignore me, to be fair. That would probably be a much more likely occurrence. That he'd be like, no, like, this is a change, like, it was intentional, like, don't bother me about it. Or if he was just like, eh, this is just some random guy. But the fact he responded, and he responded so positively, just, like, wow, that's so cool. Like, genuinely, like, that's how you recognize a bad person from a good person. And this reminds me of one of those arguments where it's like, well, people, like, do people push their, sorry, I'll rephrase it. So there's like this meme going around, like how to determine if someone is a good person or a bad person. And it's essentially like, are they someone who will push their card back without supervision? So are they a person who are gonna put their the card back where they got it from, right? Like when you have those, like in supermarkets, I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Like supermarkets have those trolley thingies where you take your shopping cart and then like you put the coin in or whatever, and then you get it out, and then of course you can like get another one, etc. And then at the end, like nobody is forcing you to put it back. It just kind of up to like every individual to be like, hey, well, I did my duty and now I'm gonna be a fair person and return it. It's essentially the same thing that was with VCRs when we borrowed them back in the day, because when you returned it to the library, nobody really checked. So with VCRs, you had to like actually rewind them, because it always started playing the tape forward, right? So when you return it, it'd be a nice thing to just rewind it ahead of time, so when the person after you got it, they wouldn't have to rewind it themselves. It's not a long process, it only takes like a minute, but for some reason there were still people out there who decided to not rewind it, right? But here's where I take issue with this, because people are like, well, you know, they're a good person because this is a totally like neutral act, like nobody's forcing you to do it, it's just up to you. But if it's like, I mean, like, if you base my personality, like, I know it's a meme. First of all, I know it's a meme, like, before someone takes me too seriously, I know, like, this isn't for entertainment purposes. But also, I'm like, genuinely, like, if you make a meme where it's like, well, good people are the ones, like, who put their, like, cards back, or, like, if you rewind your VCRs before you return them to the video store, like, you know what? If you want to base my entire word, like, human word, based on, like, those two things, then call me a criminal, because like I will, like, it's not a big deal. Like, either of those things is not a big deal. Like, just genuinely, like, if I have to, like, if I receive a VCR which is not rewinded, like, am I gonna be like, darn, this is a mild inconvenience? Yeah. But like, am I gonna like lose my sleep over it? Absolutely not. It's just like, it's not a huge deal, right? And I'll try to rewind it, but then I'm sure there were times where like I forgot, or where I was even like, I don't feel like it, like already packed it up. Now it's ready for send off, and then I just returned it to the video store and I didn't rewind it back. And you know, like, does that make me a bad person? Like, according to some people on the internet who take meme too serious, who takes their memes too seriously, they think I am a bad person. And I take offense to that. Because, you know, I'm not saying, like, I'm a good person or anything. I'm not even saying I'm a bad person. I'm just saying, like, don't base my quality of human being based on this inane ability of me returning the card back where I found it, or by rewinding my VCR. Like, that's just insulting. It's the same thing, like, with Facebook and Google. Like, you don't know me as a person. You don't know if I'd save your puppy if it was stranded on a tree, or your cat. I'm not saying that's what makes you a good or a bad person. I also think that's kind of an inane example, but surely it's like a more telling way to do it than if someone just decides to rewind their VCR or return their friggin' like shopping cart where they found it. Hopefully we agree. Like, maybe I'm coming on too strong here. Maybe you're like, well, this guy is really upset. Is he compensating for something? And I mean, I'm not compensating for anything, okay? All I'm saying is, we should all be held to a standard. And the standard is not, like, do you return your shopping cart, or do you turn back your VCR? No, the standard should be, do you take a pen from the disinfected pile, and put it back in the disinfected pile? Because if you do, I feel like then we can start talking about who's a good or a bad person, or an ignorant person. Add that to the mix, why not? Because I feel like that's kind of a great ground. Like, if someone does something bad out of ignorance, does that make them bad? No. It does make them liable though, right? Like, you still did something bad, so you should be held responsible. That's just my way of circling back to what I said before. But okay, so what does make you a bad person? Let's just put it out there. Is forcing other people to enter a store against their will. Now that makes you a bad person. I hope we can all agree on that at least. Maybe we won't find common ground on with anything else, but hopefully at least that bit. Because, like, you know, like, you don't want to mix things up. Like, is it a matter of, I don't know, getting a vaccine? Like, I get why people are scared about getting a vaccine. I'm not gonna go out telling others, hey, you didn't get a vaccine, you wanna get vaccinated? You don't trust medicine or what? Like, what the hell, man? It's like, no, like, I get it. People are scared. Like, they're injecting literal, like, advanced tech in your body. Like, it's a scary prospect. Like, even for people who I think are, like, very sure that it's all gonna be turn out good, it's still a scary prospect. Because, again, they're literally taking, like, this thing and they're injecting it into your body. Like, it doesn't feel natural, I suppose. But when it comes to other things, I mean, you know, like, again, we have to set limits somewhere. Okay, let me just... I don't even know, like, what the sense of this episode is. Like, we already died once, then we re-rolled our run. Like, this is just full Zane at this point. I don't even know, like, what I'm talking about. We talked about Facebook, we talked about crazy people. Talked about bad, like, what makes a person good. Like, there's, like, some heavy topics for an Isaac episode. And we're almost at the end of it, so hopefully our pain will end soon. This is one concept I always liked about what's it called? Divine Comedy from, of course, the very famous Dante Alighieri. Like, when he said, like, there are multiple layers of hell. And I feel like that's so true. Like, there's multiple layers of bad people. Like, we can't all put them in the same basket, right? Like, people who don't turn back their VCRs. And I'd say, like, a level 1. Like some community service. Like, maybe create a nice badge. Like, work, like, take some dogs for a walk. I would call us even, right? People who, like, force others into going to the store, man, just straight to 7th. Like, just straight to 7th hell. Like, you're not able to get out. Like, you get 1 hour of free time a week. Otherwise, you're strained. And there's, like, giant spiders biting you at every step of the way. And you're always entangled in web, no matter where you go. That's another punishment that I think is completely fair in this instance. I should fart on him more, because I have a lot of poison. I have a lot of soul charges, a lot of poison charges stacked up. And that brings us to the end of this episode. I thought there was another floor, but of course there's not, because I don't have it unlocked yet. So hopefully you enjoyed my, like, 40, like, good 40, maybe even 50 minutes of nice banter. I had a lot of fun. It felt really good and cathartic to get it out of me, and having like a 2-day break definitely did a lot of wonders for me, even if I ended up dying at the start. So hopefully you enjoyed all of this. Hopefully you enjoyed my rambling, like I said, and hopefully I'm gonna see you next time. Goodbye!